Hello everybody. Welcome back again to Grammar and Writing Academy, your destination for mastering English. After reading the short story of Black Cowboy, Wild Horses by Julius Lester, let's have a brief summary of it. There will be also a vast number of questions and their answers to let you have better understanding. For more details, we added some additional questions. Try only to understand them. Remember, do your best, my lovely students, to be the best ever. Are you ready? Let's go. Black Cowboy, Wild Horses, a folk literature selection by Julius Lester, tells the story of Bob Lemmons, a cowboy in the West who is very skilled at taming horses. Bob was a slave who had been deprived of a formal education, but he had great practical knowledge and a special skill at bringing valuable wild horses in to be tamed. Bob is patient and clever. In the vast wilderness, he braves a storm, rattlesnakes, and the dangerous wild horses. Bob and his horse, Warrior, ride with the mustangs day and night, and are challenged by the herd stallion as Bob and Warrior try to round up the herd and lead them into a corral. What is the genre for Black Cowboy, Wild Horses? The genre is a short story, fiction. A short story is a very popular form of writing. It is a work of fiction that includes a few characters with a single setting, time and place, simple plot, event and conflict, problem. What is the theme for Black Cowboy, Wild Horses? The theme is people and animals can relate to each other. 1. Who is Warrior? Warrior is Bob's horse. 2. What do Bob and Warrior dream of doing someday? They dream of living among the mustangs rather than capturing them. 3. How does Bob Lemmon view or see nature? Bob sees nature as a peaceful and beautiful place. 4. What examples of figurative language imply or show Bob's thoughts and feelings about nature? Bob sees the land stretching as wide as love, and he sees the earth napping. 5. How does the colt die? A snake bites the colt, and then it dies. 6. Direct characterization helps you learn or know about the character. What is stated about Bob in the story? Bob has been a slave and never learned to read words. He can look at the ground and read what animals have walked on it. Bob can make horses think he is one of them. 7. Indirect characterization helps readers learn what the character's actions tell about his or her personality. What do Bob's actions reveal or disclose about him? Bob is careful, thoughtful, attentive, and he plans ahead, wise. 8. What does figurative language include? Figurative language includes phrases and clauses that are not meant to be taken literally. It helps writers create more vivid and effective images, descriptions, or meaning. 9. What is the setting of the story? It is a wide open space in plains, a vast wilderness. 10. How does Bob Lemmons interact with the herd of mustangs? The horses are not afraid of Bob. He is accepted by the mustangs because he is patient and moves slowly until they recognize him as one of the horses. Bob understands the behavior of the mustangs. 11th. How is the story's conflict resolved? Bob and his horse Warrior lead the mustangs into captivity. 12th. Conflict is the driving force in most short stories. Give examples of external and internal conflicts from the story. Examples of external conflicts include the storm, rattlesnakes, and the death of the colt. Internal conflict may include Bob's potential remorse, feeling of guilt or sadness, over leaving horses in captivity. 13. Identify the story's climax or the point of the greatest tension. It's when Bob and Warrior overtake the Mustang stallion. 14. What is Bob's problem? Bob Lemmons wants to bring in and corral, gather together, a herd of mustangs by himself. 15. What is Bob's unique talent? Bob is very skilled at taming wild horses. He is also patient and clever. 16. Though it is very cold, Bob can't light a fire at night. Explain. Bob can't light a fire at night because the horses will smell the smoke on him, and they may run away. Some additional questions. A. What can Bob read? Bob could read the ground for signs of animals that walked there and know all kinds of information about them. B. Why do you think the author describes Bob as one of the horses? The author described Bob as being one of the horses because Bob was so in tune with animals and the way they would behave. C. In this story, what does Bob Lemmons want to achieve? Bob Lemmons wanted to bring in and corral a herd of mustangs by himself. D. Identify at least 2 problems Bob solves in order to achieve his goal. Explain your choices. Bob and Warrior would spook the herd if they moved too quickly, so they had to move slowly and quietly in order to be accepted by the herd's stallion. Bob had to overtake the Mustang stallion in order to become the herd's leader. In order to bring in the herd, he had to be stronger than the stallion. E. What information about the setting, Bob Lemmons and Warrior appears in the first 2 paragraphs? Bob Lemmons is a cowboy, and Warrior is his horse. They live and work in a wide open space in the plains. F. To which stage of the story's plot do these paragraphs belong? Explain. These paragraphs belong to the exposition stage of the plot because the characters and setting are introduced. G. What important information appears in paragraph 4? Bob first sees the Mustang's hoofprints. H. Why is this information important? This information is important because the hoofprints show that wild Mustangs are nearby. That Bob spots the hoofprints sets up the story. I. To which stage of the story's plot do you think this paragraph belongs? Explain your thinking. This paragraph belongs in the rising action part of the plot because the plot starts to get more intense. J. At what point do you think the story reaches its climax or point of greatest tension? The story reaches its greatest point of tension when Bob and Warrior overtake the Mustang stallion. Bob is not sure the stallion will back down. K. At the end of the story, what unfulfilled longing does Bob express? Bob expresses a longing to ride with the Mustangs someday. L. Why do you think the author ends with this open issue, rather than with Bob's successful achievement of his goal? Explain your thinking. The author ends with this unfulfilled longing, probably to express that he understands the Mustang's wild nature, even though he corralled them. Thanks for being a member in Grammar and Writing Academy, your destination for mastering English. Don't forget that your support means a lot to us. Like, share, and subscribe for more awesome English adventures. See you soon.